Greetings, good people. So I've been a bit missing in action lately. It was the month of August, which traditionally, I guess, is recess period for us to retreat, recalibrate, and re-energize, and hopefully come back a little bit stronger. So here I am. I recall in the last video, I more or less wound down with my journey with endometriosis. Um, and my intention for the next video was to just briefly summarize those points which I shared with you, um, which marks the end of the first series, and to also introduce the second series to you, which I'm very excited about. Um, so, in that first series, I took you way back to when I first started my period as a young girl, all the excitement, leading up to that moment, the anticipation, couldn't wait, to be seen as a young lady, to be seen as a woman and not as a little girl, be able to have conversations about periods with my mom, with my friends. So, yeah, you can imagine what a rude awakening it was when I started to discover that every month spelt sheer misery, because I'll just get so violently ill, debilitating, excruciating pain, throwing up, vomiting. My mum needed to be around me all the time to look after me as a youngster. And throughout life, really, throughout my adult years, I should say, when, I was then looking after myself. Um, and just that whole period of navigating life as a patient, but not quite a patient, because up to me getting the diagnosis, I didn't really know that I had a condition. And so there was a lot of confusion, a lot of uncertainty. And then many, many, many years later, getting the diagnosis and actually feeling relieved that I now had, I had a label that I could put, whatever your feelings are about labels. But I think when you have an illness and you know that you're not some kind of freak, you're suffering the symptoms, but you don't know what's wrong with you. When you know that it actually has a name, it just helps you deal with the situation a bit better. So for me, from that point on, it was a bit of an improvement because then I could say categorically to people I was interacting with, be it my employers, be it people from the medical profession, this is what I've been diagnosed with. Here's what, I feel we should be doing, or can you help me with whatever it was. It just meant I was able to get my foot onto the next step to carry on the journey in managing this condition. And I talked about me reaching my crisis point with the condition when it went from just a few days of pain every month to constant pain, and realizing that there was something seriously wrong. Being rushed into hospital, into accident and emergency on 3 separate occasions, and being given morphine because the pain was so intense. And then having the operations, the keyhole surgery, and then the major surgery, and of course all the complications that I suffered from that surgery. Many operations. I think there was a whole year. Not I think. I was meant to be off for like 3 months, and I ended up having to take a whole year off work because of the complications and everything that had to then be put right after that major operation. I ended up suffering with urine retention, ended up with a catheter, ended up with a ruptured bowel, ended up with an ileostomy bag. All of these things, the doctors feared might have been a permanent state, but thank God I recovered, made a full 100% recovery, and was able to, resume life, resume normal life. But then there was another rude awakening when, yes, I know that there's no cure for the condition, but I then, once my periods came back, several months after the surgery, the pain came back 100-fold. And then realizing after having a consultation with my gynecologist that from there on out, it was a case of just managing the pain with painkillers. In other words, depending on over the counter remedies for life, or for as long as, I carried on suffering with endometriosis until the menopause, I guess. And it just wasn't an option for me. I thought, not with all that drama that I've been through, the complications, etc., etc. No, I just decided no. And the journey for me there, the lessons, if you like, that I learned were, you know, I sometimes refer to myself as skeptical Simone, because I'm usually the one with the raised eyebrow. You tell me about taking natural remedies made from flowers and herbs and it could make a difference. I'm usually the one who's asking the questions, wanting to know and understand exactly what I'm getting into. My friends and family will tell you. Um, but I thank God that, I put skeptical Sim to one side, opened my mind, and just went with it. And thank God, it made a huge difference, made a massive, massive difference to my quality of life. And I cannot stop singing um, this lady's praises, who, like I said, made a huge difference in terms of managing the symptoms. From, I would say, pain being on a level of 9, 10 in terms of intensity, to it going all the way down to 2, 1, 0. So when I got to a point where I realized that I could be on my period and still carry on life as normal, like most other women actually. Your life shouldn't stop when your period starts. And that's the power of the natural remedies. So, yeah, that kind of neatly tied up series 1, where I shared that episode of my life with you. And series 2 is where I am collaborating with people who can hopefully enrich you even more. I did start this platform, after all, to engage, to share, to connect, to inform, and to empower. So I always had a desire to speak to other women who suffer with endometriosis, and to also speak to the lady who specializes in flowers and herbs and is responsible for giving me my quality of life back. So I can't wait to bring you all that content. But I am able to say quite proudly that I have done my first video where I bring on my first guest onto my platform. I've been quite particular about, who I speak to, because I wanted, whoever I am, having discourse with, to be able to bring benefit, to be able to bring something to the table, so that you are able to, be blessed somehow with the information that you glean, however little, that may be. So I'm pleased to say that I have just completed my first video with a lovely young lady by the name of Sanchia Alassier. She used to be the former mayor for the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham, and has gone on to achieve some amazing things in her career, whilst battling the debilitating condition that is endometriosis. So I've just had an amazing interview with her, where she's shared so many nuggets and has been so generous with her time in terms of taking my questions and, just sharing as much knowledge and as much information as possible. She talks about, her days where she, was just in so much pain, she couldn't do much. She discovered the benefits of endometriosis clinics, and how she's now using her political position, using that platform to do good and shine a light on the condition. So I can't wait to share it with you. It just needs to be edited a bit, and that will be coming to a screen very close to you very soon. So in the meantime, it leaves me to say it's great to be back. Keep well in the meantime, stay safe, and look out for the new content. Look out for series 2, which will be launching very soon, as I say. And God bless, and I shall see you very soon. Bye bye.